Okay, so I want to go break some rules. And specifically, I want to go break some poi rules, but there's a few other things that I want to do today too, so come along with me. Drex here from DrexFactor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the rules that we have in poi spinning, whether we recognize them or not, and some of the cool things that can happen when we decide to deliberately break them. But before we dive in, I do just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultra Poi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all of these amazing businesses and what they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I have down in the description of this video. And special thanks to non-business friends of the channel, Johnny Howard, Lane Machinsky, and Pekka Pekkonen. Thank you so very much for your support for my work and my mission. All right, so I actually have multiple missions today. See, there's this awesome exhibit down at the Smithsonian called, I want to say it's A Date with Eternity or something with eternity, what have you. Anyway, I've been seeing my friends posting photos and videos from this exhibit now for the past couple months, and I really want to check it out myself. I went and called ahead, and apparently they still have timed entry passes for today. It's quite late in the afternoon though, so I'm going to try and get out there as soon as I possibly can in order to make sure that I can still check out the exhibit today. So come with me. So normally when I travel into DC, I go ahead and rent a bike using the local bike share, and then just bike down to the metro and take the metro on in. That usually takes me about 30 to 40 minutes, but I just checked and there's no bikes available, so that means it's an easy 45 minutes to get down there. Not great. I hope I make it in time. I'm leaving the house at roughly like 3:30 and the museum closes at 5:30, so fingers crossed that I make it in, right? And also, COVID cases have been spiking like crazy here in Montgomery County where I live. So for those of you who are frustrated with watching videos in which I'm wearing a mask, those days of frustration are coming to a middle. All right, so as I'm walking down to the metro, let me talk to you a little bit about what I mean by rules and why I'm interested in breaking them. Goodness that there's a lot of traffic along here. I hope this doesn't mess up the audio at all. Anyhow, so I would imagine that most of us as poi spinners pride ourselves on like working within a system where we claim that there's no rules, that it's like whatever your flow finds you, etc., etc., etc. And, you know, to a certain degree, I think that we do live by those principles, but at the same time, when it comes to the ways that we teach beginners to spin poi, there are in fact a few rules that have become really, really prevalent in the Western poi spinning world. For example, when I first started learning to spin poi, I remember taking those basic reel turns where I was spinning the poi in together same and flipping from side to side to my body, and noticing that there wasn't that huge a difference between what my hands were doing there versus what they were doing in butterflies. So it stood to me to reason that I could just change the orientation of my planes going back and forth between my butterflies and getting into those reels. I don't think I'm the only beginner that had that experience, but the thing is that usually as people learn to spin poi, we train them out of this habit very early on. That is, we try and make sure that everything stays in this kind of wall plane orientation, wherein the audience can see the full profile of your poi, their planes at least, at all times. This kind of harkens back to Nick Woolsey's work with flowers and kind of creating these spirograph pictures with the poi. And of course, weaves and butterflies and everything kind of got integrated into that. And because of that now, we basically work in a world where everything is in wall plane. And, you know, it turns out that was also kind of a great fit for video formats, because whenever we record something, essentially what the lens does is it flattens down the picture of what it is recording. So when you're working in 2 dimensions with poi, it just is a great fit for video too. Another element that we try and train people out of is the instinct to switch the orientations of our poi planes by bending those planes. You know, more often what we like to see people do is using either pendulums or stalls to engage what's called a 0 point. That is, you completely stop the momentum of the poi and you get it working in a completely different plane. This is the basic idea behind things like, you know, plane breaks and all of the different horizontal plane stuff that you see me doing in my poi dance videos. So by and large, when you see people that are adhering to the style of contemporary poi, they're trying to adhere to those two rules, more or less. And I'm kind of curious what happens when we deliberately break them. Well, it is 4 o'clock as I'm coming up on the metro station here. Everybody clap if you believe in fairies. Just in time to catch a train. Hallelujah. So I'm transferring at Gallery Place. Normally I just walk down here to the National Mall, but being as how we have a time crunch and the Blanc Plaza station spits me out right next to the museum, I figure that's probably the better way to go. We are definitely coming up on rush hour here. The platform is pretty crowded. It definitely does not help that this is one of the busiest stations along the metro line. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in. Next station. Okay, L'Enfant is a complete mess. One of the exits appears to be closed, so I'm gonna have to find another way out of here. Cool, I made it out, and I'm like 2 blocks away, so I'm still gonna have to haul it pretty quick, because by now I think we're at least 4:30, so yikes. Success! Made it to the Hirshhorn. Now let's see if there are still any passes available for today.
With the Kusama, not today. They patches are planned for today. But you're more than welcome to go ahead and see what you have.
Denied. Oh well. Let's go play with some poi, shall we? Disappointing, but I guess not that terribly surprising. I was getting a pretty late start in the day, but yeah, let's talk about these rules that I want to break with poi. So I'm sure several of you will recognize from some of my flow videos a moment that I'm very fond of, taking a 4-pedal anti-spin versus 2-pedal in-spin and doing a plane break into what's essentially a horizontal buzzsaw, right? Now, while I was in the dance studio a few weeks ago, I was playing around with this idea and suddenly changed up the directive there, where instead of just taking that buzzsaw straight across the horizontal plane, I instead did a little bit of a plane bending thingamabob there. Originally, I thought I was working towards like sticking a toroid in there, but I realized I wasn't getting the effect that I wanted out of the toroid, and that really what I was looking for was the thing that we're not supposed to do. That is just like hang out in that buzzsaw and very, very slowly bend the plane from one side to the other. Now, here's the cool thing that happens there. I think the eye, in some respects, realizes it's seeing something that shouldn't be happening, and so this moment builds up an awful lot of tension. In fact, as I noticed myself doing this, I also noticed that getting to the other side and finally breaking out into that 4-pedal anti-spin versus 2-pedal in-spin felt like kind of a release of energy, and that was pretty cool. So I started playing with some other variations on this idea, among which was the idea of taking some wall plane anti-spins with a little linear isolation in the middle, and once again switching into that horizontal buzzsaw place. From there, I can switch into a rapidly changing plane, flipping it over itself until I basically get back to where I started. It's a kind of visually cool idea. And likewise, I found that this was an excellent way to build up and then release tension. For example, if I go into that horizontal buzzsaw and I take my time in going around with it before I finally break out into a anti-spin flower again, it, well, kind of builds up in really cool ways. And I think that there's plenty of other examples that are similar to this too. These are just the ones that happen to catch my eye. But let me show you those in action first and give you a little bit of music with them to kind of help set a tone for how these can be used and deployed in order to build and release tension, specifically by breaking the rules. So the this is certainly an evolving idea, but I at least wanted to share with you some of the things that have come out of it. I'll be sure to update you as more of this stuff comes to mind, but hopefully this is enough at least to get you all playing with some ideas of your own. Did you get anything out of this video? Sorry that I didn't show you some awesome art in the course of it, but hopefully there was still enough here to keep your interest. If you got anything out of this video, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to keep the conversation going and to help people find this video. This video would not be possible were it not for the kind support of all of these nice people right here. These are my Flow patrons over on Patreon, and they, along with the people listed down in the description, help to make this video and all the videos on this channel possible. Thank you one and all for your support. If you are not currently a supporter and you would like to help me out on my mission of bringing poi spinning and flow arts to the wider world and helping people connect with their brains and their bodies as creative individuals, you can do that by heading on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and signing up. There you can get early access to all of my content, as well as a say of what topics I tackle in the future, plus some great extras and behind the scenes stuff as well. So go check that out, please and thank you. What are your favorite tricks that you come up with by breaking the rules? Or are you a rule breaker by nature? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to see some of the stuff that you've come up with. In the meantime, I will leave links to a playlist of other videos like this down in the description, as well as up on screen if you happen to be watching on YouTube. Make sure to get out to Flow today, and I will see you with a brand new video very, very soon. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good one. Peace.